In this lecture, Professor A.K. Enamelhack explains the difference between a fair price and an affordable price of a product in the market. He also uses economic principles to explain the potato market crisis in Bangladesh.
There is also questioning the theory of competition. Some people have also said, is competition possible? That's something for us to, next point for us to think about it. Is competition possible? So some people have said, yet at all competition, is it possible? And that's what they have been trying to say. They said, okay, this is a good chapter. That's what I want to, because this is the crux of the whole book in a way, on the whole syllabus. That when I look into the first point we must be made the theory of competition is that it is only a theory. Conditions necessary for perfect competition are extremely unlikely to be observed in practice. That's what the first point for everyone to understand, that even though we talk about competition, it's like a utopian concept. It's a concept that exists in theory, very difficult. One of the reasons is very difficult is homogeneity. So remember the conditions of homogeneity. If we go back to the conditions of homogeneity, and if I say here, so what are the 5 features? Number 1 is many buyer. Remember the features of a perfectly competitive market. Number 2, many sellers. Number 3, homogeneous product. So affordability is built into the demand function through the income. And as long as we are in this, and you cannot sell here because it's beyond the affordability. This is what people are expecting, 25 taka. But this is what the market is selling, 35 taka. Just to give an example. So all they're saying, look, demand has gone down. This was point A. This is point B. But it's still affordable. Not for all. These people, this much is people are, what will happen to these consumers? So if this is 10 and if this is 5, what happens to these consumers?
So now they will shift their demand, or now they will not consume potatoes.
So they will buy something else. Remember, they will go for substitute products. So technically, and this is something I always find interesting that people don't think about it, which is something that you should understand as an economics student. Price can be anywhere. So price can be here, price can be here. So if price is 0, let's say this is 20. If price is 10, let's say this is 15. If the price is 15, let's say 5. So I'm giving you, have you seen this kind of a function? This is true or false? And this is price 20. So if I look into a table, so this is the price. And if the price is 0, quantity is 20. If the price is 10, quantity is 15. If this is 20, this is 0. So if I'm looking at unsatisfied buyer, 0 unsatisfied buyer, 5 unsatisfied buyer, 15 unsatisfied buyer, and there are 20 unsatisfied buyer. Next question is, which price is fair price?
Serve 10.
Why 10? So how do you define fairness in a market? See, people talk about it. This is exactly what is happening in this potato market. People talk about it, but you have to understand the logic that, do I actually look and see price has gone to 35? There are some people who are not going to buy potato. But there are also some people who could not buy when the price was 25. So why are we talking about this group and not this group? So what will be your answer as an economic student to say, okay, wait a minute. If I was looking at unsatisfied buyer, this would be the best price. You have to give a criteria, right? And if I say no, 5 versus 15, answer is, what is your criteria to choose between 5 versus 15? Now, you could say one criteria. So what she was saying is that maybe this is the price, there will be nobody will supply it. But answer is, if this is the supply function, nobody would supply it either at 10, right? The criteria has nothing to do with unsatisfied buyer. The criteria is, where is your equilibrium? So remember, the logic of the market should be understood. A lot of people don't understand this. Answer is, yes, affordable. All of them are affordable, but affordable to different group. When the price was 0, it was affordable to everyone. When price was 20, it was affordable to 15, but not for 5. When price was 15, it was affordable to only 5 and not for the 50. When price was 20, it was not affordable to anyone. Nobody could afford it. That's what it is. So it's not affordability that actually makes a fair price. What you should look into, what is the supply function? And that's why we say, look, this is the equilibrium. Now we realize equilibrium has a lot of meaning. And we said, okay, this is the price. Don't look into this. That's the right question for economists to ask, is that where is the supply function? Majority of us, when we discuss, we do not look into this. This is the tragedy of our knowledge, that we actually never become good economists because we never looked into the real economics diagrams properly. Answer is yes, you need this in order to answer this question. Now I can say that, look, if the price is 12, this is fair price. It has nothing to do with looking at this. But I can, and that's exactly what is happening right now. So let's look into the potato market for a second. And we said, okay, here is the potato market. This is the demand function. And this is the supply function. And this is 35. Obviously, if this was the supply function, last year's supply was higher. This is 25. So this was last year. And this is this year. Which price is fair?
Both, sir.
See, we come up with all this cheap argument without thinking about economics. Because if you set the price here, this is what they will produce, 3. Why you are expecting that they will go outside the supply function? See, economics has to be understood not by your heart, but by your brain. If you are not using brain, you are not an economist. If you are thinking that I will set the price here and they will supply here, answer is not possible. This is the supply function. This was the supply function last year, not this year. They found something else to produce. And if they're finding something else to produce, very simple. When government decided to increase the rice price and there is no potato price increase, what do you think a producer will do? They will
Produce rice, sir.
exactly. They will switch their land from potato to rice. So what will happen to the supply of potato?
It would drastically decrease, sir.
Exactly. This is also the simple logic. If you want to make the price 0, you are saying, oh, nobody will supply. But why you are expecting somebody to supply at 10? This is the supply function. Don't assume that suppliers have no choice. Just like consumer has a choice of buying potato or something else, supplier also has a choice of producing potato or rice. And if you as a government decided that I'm going to increase the rice price in order to ensure, because of COVID, I want to ensure that we don't have a food crisis. If that is my objective and I decided to raise the price of rice, and remember, if you do it, the moment you do it, you are going to switch your land out of potato. And the moment you switch it, the supply function is shifted. So was it fair to compare last year price with this year price and say it is unfair? And if you're saying no 10, answer is even in 10, the supply will be at 3. So this much shortage will be there. The market will not work. If you and me as an economics student do not understand, I still do not understand why we are studying economics. So I'm not saying this is right and wrong. I'm saying be careful before interpreting it. This is what when I'm saying we are studying forensic economics, we're studying competition law. Remember, these are the issues. People will talk about all this. And you being an economics student also say, no, this is also true. Answer is no, wait a minute. You are forgetting this was last year's supply function. The situation in last year and the situation this year are not same. Now look into the potato use. Why are the potato use? Many producers use. So these are the other producers, industrial producers. So if any of the industrial production, if you think about it, potato has a demand by the industrial production. If industrial producers see that because of the market, COVID, there has been a fall in their potato chips. Are people buying less potato chips now than before?
Yes, sir. They are buying less, sir.
They are buying less. Not everyone. All the schools are closed. People are not going out. So many of their demand for the industrial need of potato has gone down, which means obviously producers are smart. They are smarter than others. they realized that if I stay in potato, I will have a problem. On the other hand, government decided to increase the rice price, not a potato price, as an incentive. Remember incentive how it's given. Government says if you have rice, I will buy it for you. Government did not say I will buy potato from you at this price. So if the moment you say price will go up, immediately, let's forget about it. Let's say government has decided to say, no, I'm going to increase onion price. What will happen if you have a plot of land? Previously you were in potato. Now what you will do? You will immediately switch to onion. So remember, just like the consumer has a choice, producer also has a choice. Something, as a student of economics, all of you should understand that we have a choice. And if I have a choice, I'm going to switch. And if I switch, supply function is no longer going to be there. This was last year's supply function, because last year was a different year. But this year, supply function has went back, and that has increased the price. So when you say fair price, the moment you bring affordability, these are all political issues. Obviously, government will say, I want to make things cheaper. Fine, but find a strategy, find a policy for it. Don't jump into the producer and say they will do it. Answer, they will not do it. This is what they will do. That's what the point that I'm trying to understand. That given this, the reason the actual question was not here, the actual question was, the point that I was raising is that when we say many buyers or even many sellers, if these are the two words we have been using in perfectly competitive market, what it means? Does it mean a number? Answer is no. It really doesn't really mean a number, because I can show a market which is only 10 consumer, very competitive. So it is actually not number. If it is not number, what does it mean actually? That is my question.
Criteria, kind.
Okay, this is your home assignment. This is your next assignment. Before the next class, you upload it. That what does many buyer, many seller means in perfectly competitive market? Okay, we'll stop here for today.
Please subscribe to this channel to receive updates on new videos.